This 1 Degree Outside video is brought to you by Attitash Mountain Village. Book your stay directly through the link on our homepage, onedegreeoutside.com. Thursday Insights, Matt Noyes. Thanks for being with us here at 1 Degree Outside, onedegreeoutside.com, and on our app where you can find everything you need to know, right? Winter is back for us. Probably the first and biggest headline. You can feel that. You can hear the wind roaring outside if you're inside the office today. The winter pattern, though, doesn't always mean snow. So we've been talking a lot about this return of winter cold, but it is a necessary ingredient, right? In order to get snow, you have to have the colder pattern. So what that means is in this Insights video, we will do a little bit of going on the hunt for snow and see what's out there for chances. Now, it's interesting to look at the snowpack across the northern tier of the United States. It has decreased markedly in spots, including here in the Northeast over the past couple of weeks. Of course, we're going to add more snow. In fact, in the next few days, we're going to add quite a bit more snow, just not necessarily here in New England. We are snowing now in spots. We'll talk about that in a moment. The jet stream looks this way. Big dip, big trough in the jet stream. The problem is if you go too deep into the colder air, then you're not at the storm track. You're not right near that jet stream, and that is exactly where New England is going to be for the upcoming days, which is why when you watch what happens with disturbances going by, mostly they're to our south. You see one opportunity Monday into Tuesday, where the jet stream kind of lifts overhead. It still looks like most of that stays to our south, but we'll take a look here in a minute. And once that goes by, yet again, you've carved out a real deep trough. You've got the cold air, but it tends to be dry air. You tend to be removed from the moisture that's down to the south, which means you have low precipitation chances in New England for the most part, except for maybe some passing mountain snow showers at times, until we get to about the middle of the month. And then things may look a little bit more interesting then. And again, we'll talk more about that here in a moment. So here's the storm center that goes by to our south, developing Friday into Saturday, turns into a big storm out over the ocean once it hits some moisture. Here at home, we'll continue with lake effect snow that has been falling in Berkshire County and western Massachusetts today. Again, more on that in a moment. The cold air opening up from the north and west. Notice your high temperatures down either side of zero for highs on Saturday across the northern tier of the United States, and particularly in the northern plains. Here is some of that lake effect snow still coming in through today, through tonight, into tomorrow morning. In Berkshire County, it is blasting off of Lake Ontario, coming through upstate New York and surviving the trip. At times, some flurries make it into central Massachusetts. And also, notice as the wind begins to shift during the day on Friday, those start to drift up into the southern Green Mountains of Vermont and maybe even the Monadnock region of southwest New Hampshire. Even perhaps in Manchester, you might get a little quick snow shower on Friday evening as a disturbance comes by and picks some of that up. Also, just so you know, I'm going to be watching some moisture coming off of Long Island Sound with a disturbance passing across the south coast and toward the Cape Friday evening and night. You may get a couple of snow showers and even a little light coating of snow as that comes on by. So just something to be aware of there. Essentially, it's whichever way the wind blows, and when you get these disturbances, they kind of add overall to the amount of lift in the atmosphere that can produce these snow showers. So when you look at total accumulated snow that's coming up here in the next couple of days, there's not a lot, including in the mountains. Of course, the snow guns will be blasting. Here's Western Mass, 2 inches in light blue, 3 inches in the darker blue, and that, of course, is ongoing today into tonight with the lake effect snow that's coming in for you. There goes that storm developing over the ocean. Still some mountain snow showers from time to time, even heading into the upcoming weekend, but most of it's going to be man-made stuff with the snow guns. And here comes that next jet stream disturbance we looked at. It is well organized. It does have moisture, but it goes down to our south. It paints the mid-Atlantic with snow. Look at D.C. gets into it. Philly gets into it. Here at home, we're on the northern fringe, barely. We look and say, what's the chance you even get into it? It is actually as high as 40% at our south coast, but drops very quickly the farther north you go from there. So we'll see how things come together to get grazed at the south coast on Monday, whether we do it or not. But clearly, when you look at an early estimate on predicted snowfall, and it is very early, but there's actually very good agreement that you've probably got a swath of about 8 to 12 inches showing up in purple that runs all the way from the Midwestern United States, St. Louis, running across Cincinnati and into the mid-Atlantic. So it's a great stripe of snow. You just don't get into it at home in New England. In fact, when we look at our precipitation chances paltry at best here over the coming days. You can see you've got that slight elevated chance on the north side of it on Monday, drops down to about 0 at the middle of next week. And really, it's not until we start getting out closer to mid-month that you start seeing that precipitation chance go up. But remember what we talked about. You can't play the game if you don't have the cold air. So if you're a snow lover, I understand, many of you saying you'd like to get into some of the snow. If you're this much into the cold, it tends to be dry, but it's one step in the equation, right? One part of the equation. So highs on Friday, reaching up into the 30s for us here. Friday night, we will drop down to the teens. The wind still busy, but not as strong at all as it's been for us today. The gusts tonight start to come down to 40. The gusts tomorrow more like 30. Saturday, we've still got a breeze. It doesn't quit. It's coming out of the west and west-southwest. And remember what we talked about. Friday night, you might get grazed by those snow showers along the south coast. Here's the chance of some snow showers coming into the mountains as we get into Saturday and Saturday night in particular. Temperatures in the teens for most of us Saturday night. Sunday, you'll likely come to about 30. Many of us run in the 20s, and the North Country runs in the teens for highs. Monday's highs yet again in the teens in the North Country, close to 30 south. There's a breeze as we get out into early next week as well, so you've got a bit of a wind chill factor on top of this. If you'd like to follow this in our app, find out what's going on at some of your favorite places. You can put in your favorite ski areas, for example. Grab the app. It's free. Noyes, 1 degree outside weather on the App Store and Google Play. That's how the deeper dive into meteorology looks for now, but we will stay on the hunt for snow.